So welcome to this week's Stat Show, and we're going to get straight into it with a question that somebody asked on the Bear Pit pod. They asked whether or not we're creating more chances and not scoring them, or scoring more goals than the chances we created should be looking. So we're going to take a look at the expected goal stats and see what they can tell us about that. So what we see here is a graph showing the amount of goals we do score, shown by the blue line, and our expected goals value, shown by the red line. Now when the blue line goes above the red line, Stoke are overperforming in front of goal, meaning that we are scoring more goals than the quality of our chances created suggests we should do. Now the person who asked this question in the pod said that they think we're creating plenty of chances but just not taking them. This just isn't the case. If it was, the red line would be much higher than the blue line, which clearly hasn't happened. This would be because expected goals would be much higher than actual goals if we were creating plenty of clear-cut chances but not taking them. But instead we are scoring just as many goals as the chances we are creating suggests we should do. So now we're going to move on and take a look at how XG can be used in models to try and predict where teams will finish in the league and where Stoke might finish according to those models. Now this prediction model uses expected goals to give the percentage chance of where teams will finish in the league, and it isn't painting a very nice picture for Stoke. According to this model, there is only a 13% chance that Stoke will finish in the top half, but there's a whopping 64% chance that Stoke will finish 13th or lower. So maybe the results aren't as good as you were suggesting, Mr. Savage. Okay, Tom, great, but how accurate are these models, I hear you ask? Well, if we look at the model for Port Vale's season, and I promise I'm only doing this for statistical purposes, I'm certainly not rubbing it in that Port Vale have been relegated, we can see that despite their early promising start, they did something known in the statistical world as regressing to the mean. This means that they were overperforming in the early months of the season and scoring at an unsustainable rate, i.e. their expected goals was much lower than their goals that they actually scored. They eventually came off their run of form and regressed to showing what expected goals suggest they should have done, explaining why relegation always looks so likely for the Vale. Looking ahead to the Bournemouth fixture, there's one man who stands out statistically, and that's Josh King, who haunted us those years ago when he scored a hat-trick for Blackburn in the FA Cup. And he has been on fire recently. He's been involved either scoring or assisting in 13 of Bournemouth's last 20 goals. It's absolutely amazing. He is turning into a phenomenon for them. He is key to them, and he could potentially pose some problems to Stoke's defence. And moving on to a little bit of transfer rumours, which is sort of related to Bournemouth, in that Stoke have recently been linked with Nathan Ake. As we can see, Ake could be a really strong addition to the Stoke backline and showed a great deal of promise in his brief stint with Bournemouth before Conte recalled him to Chelsea. 3 goals and 3 clean sheets in only 8 starts is a great output for any defender, and Ake's versatility could be utilised well by the Potters. So that's it for this week's Stats Show. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to Bear Pit TV, and make sure you leave some comments for me to answer in next week's show.